and welcome to my kitchen. That's right, it's Thursday again, and welcome to the show. So today I'm making a really nurturing winter soup. That's right, it's soup time in the kitchen, and I'm making my creamy chicken and vegetable soup. It's out of book 5, which is just the best book ever, and this is where you'll find it here. It actually has the other soups next to it as well, so you could even make dal soup or my fantastic meatball and vegetable soup. But today it's all about the chicken soup. So let's look at the ingredients we need for this recipe. Now we've got a large onion, and we're going to dice that, small dice. Everything's about small dice with soup. I've got to chop up some carrots. I want a cup of chopped carrots, or diced I should say. We're also using a cup of frozen peas, a cup of frozen corn kernels. We need 400 grams of skinless chicken breast. We've got some garlic. We need a couple of teaspoons. We've got the stock powder, which we need. We've got tarragon, which I think goes beautifully with this soup. But I'll give you some tips on that if you say, I don't like tarragon. We've got the pasta. We've got the dried macaroni noodles here. I've got a litre of water ready to go, as well as 2 cups of milk, the evaporated light milk, and parsley from my garden to chop up. Cooking spray, bit of pepper. I think we're ready to go. But before we actually get my knives out and start chopping, let's talk about last week's show, which was the fabulous book 3, Chicken Laksa. Now the winners for that were Jane Catrona, Glenda Lavender, and the fabulous Kathy Moss, all getting a personally signed copy of book 3. So thank you for joining me today. We're in the kitchen making soup because it's winter. We want soup. So let's get the trusty knife out. I think I'll chop the veggies first. So we want a cup of diced carrots. Now we want small dice because remember it's all got to go on your spoon. So I'm going to cut it down the middle and now turn them over, and I'm going to cut them into thinner strips. That way I'm going to get that smaller dice, which is what we want in the soup. Alrighty, so I'll start with this, and in we go. Small dice. And what I like about this recipe is that it's one that my girls, who are now married with their own babies, but my babies, my 3 girls, Kelly, Rachel and Jenna, were mad fans of this particular soup. They couldn't get enough of it. And I think because it's so chickeny and creamy, but also the veggies tend to be what kids like. You know, it's not got that green branch stuff, what's it called, spinach or, you know, cauliflower, which some kids would just turn their nose up. But peas, carrot, corn, kids all seem to love that. And what I love about it is it makes it super easy. That's right. This is an easy peasy soup. And if you're one that says, oh, homemade soup in it, too much work, well, watch and learn, honey, because it is quick and easy. All right, so we need a cup of the diced carrots. Here we go. And then, so there's my cup. I'll put it in the bowl there, ready to go in. We're going to chop up the onion. Now, the onion, once again, needs to be in small dice. So go through. This is how you know I cut an onion up. Let me move that out of the way for you. And then go down. And with that point of the knife, go in as closely as you can. You don't want to go all the way through because then it'll just fall apart as you're chopping. But then, now if you're going to do bigger dice, you'd make it further, but I want small dice, so I'm going to go fairly close. Now you would also, if you wanted to do your garlic yourself, then you would be chopping up and crushing your garlic as well, but you know me, I just use the one in the jar because it's easy. So you can do what you want. Now, as I said, it's a large onion. And this is all the veggie chopping you have to do. Now, this is, I think, what turns people off making homemade soup is all the chopping. But basically, all we've got to do now is chop the chicken. That's it. So we've got the onion done, got the carrots done, our corn, our peas are ready. So let's put this chopping board over here and I'll get my chicken one. I might even change my knives over. So here we've got the 400 gram skinless chicken breast. That's what I like. Now what I'm going to do with this is, like, you've got a whole breast of chicken. How do you do a dice? Small dice. Well, I go through like this with the strips. Hello. And then if it's really thick, I'll cut it again. And then just grab a couple of pieces and then do the small dice. The thing is, this is soup. You don't eat it with a fork. You want it to fit on your spoon. So this is why you only do small dices of everything instead of big chunks. All right, so let's get the other breast out. Same thing again. Cut it down in strips. And you know, I don't know about you guys, but I love soup. Billy and I eat a lot of soup. And what I find is that once you start making them yourself, you can't go back, because I don't know, there's just so much love in home cooking, and homemade soup, oh God, it's the best. There's nothing like it. And in my recipe books, I worked it out that you can tell I like soup because I've got over 20 soup recipes for you. So you'll never get bored with these books, that's for sure.
Fiona wants to know, how come you weren't crying when you cut the onions?
Oh, Fiona wanted to know why I'm not crying when I chop the onions. Well, you know what? The key is the knife. You know, I used a really sharp knife. You know, these are my Neoflam knives, and they make all the difference, because what happens if you've got a knife that's not really sharp, then what you're doing is you're pushing down on that onion juice, and it's the juice that makes your eyes water, and because they're sharp, no crying with me, that's for sure. All right, so let me just get this over at the sink, and I'm going to wash my hands. I love it when you ask questions, because I've always got an answer. Hello, I'm a woman. We always know the answer. All right, so basically, hello, we're ready to go. So now I'm going to bring over my cooktop, turn it on. Now, a lot of you will go, Annette, are you cooking that soup in a wok? Well, I'm sorry, but I'm obsessed with this wok right now. It's the beautiful Neoflam. And this is the spray I use. It's the Rice brand oil spray, because it's what you use on good quality non-stick. Okay, let's do our garlic. We want 2 teaspoons of garlic. Now this is enough for 8 serves. It can be frozen for 2 to 3 weeks, but no longer really, because of the milk in it. But you know what? It's so easy to eat. It's just fabulous. So I'm now going to put in my chicken, you know, a little bit at a time, keep that sizzle up. And I find that it works really well making your soups in this type of dish. Let me wash my hands. But traditionally, I'll show you what you probably use, and it's the trusty boiler. But if I'm cooking on the show in a boiler, you're not to see anything, honey. So I thought, what can I do? And you know what, since I've been doing that, I've worked out that this is actually just as fabulous as using a boiler. But what I love is because it's non-stick, nothing will stick. And stay tuned because we're launching something very exciting next week that you might be interested in. All right. Now we're going to toss the chicken. You just cook it for a minute or so. We want to just seal the chicken here because it's going to take 20 minutes to cook the soup. So the chicken's going to have plenty of time to cook. All right, now what we put in is the carrots and the onion. All right, we don't need that. Give it a toss. Cook this for about a minute. I mean, it's really basically, once you've chopped everything up, it's just put it in a little bit at a time, and there is your fabulous soup. All right, so now we can go to the peas. They're the frozen ones, of course. I don't think does anyone buy fresh peas and hull them? Or what do you call it? Shell. That's how old, I can't even remember what the right word is, shelling peas. And as I said, these are the veggies all the kids love. I mean, look at the colours. You know, you've got something really gorgeous happening here. And it's called homemade soup. Yes. I think it's cost effective as well because you get a lot out of it opposed to buying soup. And I don't know about you guys, because I'm so spoilt with homemade soup, when I try anything other than that, I'm sorry, no. It just doesn't taste good. All right, so we've got that happening. Now we just add in some more ingredients, which is the litre of water. There we go. We're going to add in 4 tablespoons of the stock powder. It's the chicken, because this will help build up the flavour. Oh, it's such a great soup. Please try it because I think you're going to be really impressed. And it's the reason I chose this one is because it's such a popular one with the family. But as far as the cook goes, there's not much you need to do. You know, as I said, what do? Chop chicken, onion and carrot up. Boom, we're ready. Okay, so now we're going to put in tarragon. Now I love tarragon with chicken. It's just a marriage made in heaven. But if you go, don't have it, don't like it, whatever, then you know what? I would put basil maybe in, dried basil. I think that would be lovely in it. Or even maybe oregano would be good too. But if you've got the tarragon dried leaves, then trust me, it's fabulous. All right, so now what we're doing is everything else here is going to come in stages. Let me get rid of all this. So if you've just joined me, hello, I'm in the kitchen. I'm making soup for you today. That's right, it's my creamy chicken and vegetable soup out of book 5. Now what we're doing now is waiting for this to boil. And once it's boiled, we add in the pasta. And what I love about this type of quality pot is because it's got a good solid base to it, the pasta doesn't really stick as much, but in a really thin pot, you know, a thin base, you really got to make sure you stir it as often as you can during the 20-minute cook so that the pasta doesn't stick. And that way you're just going to stir it up. Now, if you wanted to think of traditional cream of chicken soup, well, a chef would add in some oil, butter, they'd chuck in some cream. Yes, you know what they do, salt. They would add full fat milk as well, and probably about 30 grams of fat for a bowl of their soup. Not Annette Sym's way, thank you very much. No, I'm only 2.1. That's right, 2.1 grams of fat per serve. Now you can freeze it for about 2 or 3 weeks. It's not much longer because basically it's got a milk base to it. And you know what I've done in the past, you know, when it's just maybe you know, if there's only one or two you, freeze little containers, write on them, chicken soup, and all you've got to do is pop it out of the freezer in the morning, take it, and it'll be defrosted by lunchtime at work. Boom, some nice grain bread, and you've got a fantastic meal. Now, the other way you can do it is you can make it dairy-free. So you could replace the quantity, which is 2 cups of skim milk, and a can, which is 375 ml of evaporated light milk. Remove that and make that exact amount, the full amount, with almond milk, and it will be fantastic. Now, if you're also gluten-free, you know, the stock powder is gluten-free, so we're good with that. So what you would do is you would find the gluten-free pasta and replace it as well. So hello, gluten-free, dairy-free, I've got you covered, but for everybody else, just follow the recipe. Now, one of the things that I really love about, you know, making your own is the fact that it's a lower salt version. Canned soup is woeful with salt. Now, when you look at my recipes, you'll see in the book, like for example, book 5, that I give you more than recipes in book 5. Yes, hello, here is your 28-day weight loss menu plan. And it has all the different levels for you different people. I tell you all about how to manage in the front. But if you're looking for the cookbooks, I have got something super fizzy to tell you. Did you know that Big W, let me repeat it, we love Big W, is now stocking some of the books. I know. And I'm pretty excited about that. So please, you know, go there, check it out. You know, if you want to look at any of the books, then you've got a chance now by going to Big W. But you can also order from bookstores. Not so much the newsagents as much anymore. So they might not have it in stock like Big W, but they'll order them in for you. And our distributor, if you want to write it down, his name is Woods Lane. Woods Lane. Alrighty, so now once this boils, this is where you'd add in the pasta, right? So I'm going to kind of rush ahead because I want to get to the next level. So you wait till it boils, in goes your pasta. It's so close to boiling, I'm just so close. And then mix your pasta in. Yep. Now, once it's boiled, like it's starting to try and boil now, you reduce it down to a slow boil for 20 minutes. Stir it occasionally to make sure all the pasta's getting spread around. And then what you do, and I've actually done the next stage for you. So let's turn this off. Let's move this out of the way. And imagine that you're up to 20 minutes. So we're flashing ahead. Let me get rid of this. Imagine we are now, booyah, we're 20 minutes in cooked. All right, so let's turn this up. And so here is our beautiful, you can see all the pasta's really cooked in there well. Veggies are cooked, chicken's cooked. So what are we going to do now? It's simple. I'll just move that over while it warms up. We're going to firstly chop up the parsley. Now we want 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley, and it really is an important ingredient in the soup. Notice how I do it. I always crunch it up and then finally cut it with my very sharp near-frame knife. Love it. And then just go back, hold your hand down here, and if you're watching my Tuesday with Annette, where it's more of a cooking class, I get more descriptive about how to do the recipes. So don't forget to tune in on Tuesdays because it's a lot of fun. And on Tuesdays you can download the recipe from my website if by chance you don't have the book, and you can get the ingredients and cook it with me. I know, how fabulous. All right, so we're going to do 2 tablespoons, well, that was a pretty good guess, Annette, of parsley, 2 cups of skim milk, because remember we've jumped ahead to the 20 minutes because I know you want to see the end result. So we've got a lot of chicken soup to enjoy this week, haven't we? We've got 2 batches. Anyone local, come on by, get some soup. And then in goes the evaporated milk, which will give it a creamier texture or, taste. This serves 8, 2.1 grams of fat. I mean, how fantastic is that? And while we're waiting for that to boil, let's talk about how you win the book. That's right, it's about book 5 today. All you have to do is like, share, and in the comments, hashtag Simply Too Good. That's right, simply with a Y and the number 2. Put that in the comments, like, share, Simply Too Good, and you'll go in the draw to win this fabulous book. Now, next week on Tuesdays with Annette, I'm doing a recipe that my mum really loved, bless her little soul, and it is the red salmon potato pie out of book 4. It is fantastic. You can do it with chicken, so stay with me if you go, ooh, don't like salmon. Always got solutions for you, okay? So that's on Tuesday. So download the recipe, be with me, let's make it, it's fabulous. And then next Thursday, I'm gonna be baking for you. I know, let's talk chocolate. And what am I making? It's out of book 4 as well. We're loving book 4 next week, and it's my rich chocolate squares. If you have not made it, oh gosh, I love it so much. And the kids do too, because it's got Nutella in it. Yeah. So next Thursday, it's happening. Now, if you want any recipes or tips, you know where to find me at simplytoogood.com.au. So now, when you think about soup, I mean, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? 2.1 grams of fat instead of 30. Hello, I know which my hips would prefer. So we've got our bowl ready here. Let's serve up the soup. Oh, actually, let's put a little bit of cracked pepper in first. I always like a bit of cracked pepper in everything. Up to you. There we go. Mix that through. Now, I don't know about you guys, but a bit of crusty bread roll on the side, and I'm feeling the love. Home cooked soups, homemade soups, to me are just love in a bowl. There we go, guys. There's my fabulous soup, creamy chicken and veggie out of book 5. Thanks for joining me today. I've really enjoyed our catch-up time, and you know what? I'll be back again on Tuesday. So take care. Bye now.